Captain Lisa Kelly squinted at the main view screen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Horizon. The alien spacecraft hung against the backdrop of stars, its strange organic shape unlike anything humans had designed. Lisa took a deep breath. This moment would go down in history books, humanity's first contact with an intelligent alien species. "Status report," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Lieutenant Ryan Garcia looked up from his control panel. "All systems normal, Captain. The alien vessel remains at a distance of 10,000 kilometers. No signs of aggressive movement." Lisa nodded. 5 years ago, humans had discovered faster-than-light travel, opening up the stars for exploration. The Horizon had been sent to investigate an unusual signal coming from this system, and they had found something beyond their wildest expectations. "Any response to our greeting message?" Lisa asked. Communications Officer Meg Carter shook her head. "Nothing yet, Captain. We've been broadcasting on all frequencies for 30 minutes. Keep trying." Lisa walked around the bridge, feeling the eyes of her crew on her. They were all feeling the weight of this moment. Humanity had dreamed of this day for centuries, meeting another intelligent species among the stars. Now that it was happening, Lisa felt both awe and fear. "Captain, I'm detecting energy readings from the alien ship," Ryan reported suddenly. "They're unusual. Unusual how? I've never seen anything like it. It's like they're bending space somehow." Before Lisa could respond, the view screen flickered. A face appeared. At least, Lisa thought it was a face. The alien had blue-green scales covering its head with large black eyes that didn't blink. Its mouth was a thin line that barely moved. As sounds came through the ship's speakers, Meg worked frantically at her station. "The translation software is trying to process their language, Captain." After a few seconds of garbled noise, words began to form. The alien's message was cold and clear. "Human vessel, you have entered protected space. The Voidari Collective claims this region. Retreat to your home system immediately." Lisa stepped forward. "This is Captain Lisa Kelly of the Earth vessel Horizon. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly relations with your people." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Your kind is not welcome here. This is your only warning. We mean no harm." Lisa continued, keeping her voice calm. "We are explorers seeking knowledge and peaceful contact with other intelligent life. We respect your territorial claims, but request the opportunity for diplomatic discussion." The alien was silent for a moment. "The Voidari Collective has observed your species. You spread quickly. You consume resources. You fight among yourselves. The galaxy has no need for such chaos." Ryan looked up from his station, his expression worried. "Captain, I'm detecting energy buildups in the alien vessel. They appear to be powering weapon systems." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Open communication channel again. This is Captain Kelly of the Horizon. We detect weapons activation on your vessel. We assure you we have no hostile intent." The ship rocked violently as something struck. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "Direct hit to our starboard hull," Ryan shouted over the noise. "Shields holding at 68%. Evasive maneuvers." Lisa ordered, gripping her command chair as the ship lurched to the side. "Maintain defensive posture only. Do not return fire." The Horizon shuddered as another blast hit them. "Shields at 42%, Ryan called out. "One more hit like that, and they'll break through." Lisa made a quick decision. "Get us out of here, maximum speed. Plot a course back to the nearest outpost." "What about first contact protocols?" Meg asked, her face pale. "They've made their position clear," Lisa replied, grimly. "And make sure we record everything. Earth needs to know what happened here." As the Horizon turned away, the alien ship fired again, clipping their engines. The lights on the bridge flickered. Engine power reduced to 60%, the ship's engineer reported over the intercom. "We can still make the jump to FTL, but it won't be smooth." "Do it," Lisa ordered. The stars on the view screen stretched into lines as the Horizon accelerated to faster-than-light speed, leaving the alien vessel behind. The bridge crew let out a collective breath. "Damage report," Lisa said, examining the red warning lights on her control panel. Hull breaches on decks 3 and 4, but emergency shields are holding, Ryan reported. 3 crew members injured, none critical, main power fluctuating but stable. Lisa nodded. Meg, prepare a complete data package for Earth Command. Include all sensor readings of the alien vessel and full recordings of the encounter. Yes, Captain. Lisa stared at the streaking stars on the view screen. This was not how she had imagined humanity's first contact would go. She had dreamed of exchange, of knowledge, of cultural understanding, not threats and weapons fire. Why do you think they attacked us? Asked Ryan, his voice low. Lisa shook her head. Fear, perhaps, or experience with other species that made them distrustful. Either way, Earth needs to know that we're not alone out here, and that not everyone wants to be friends. 2 weeks later, Lisa stood in the United Nations Space Command headquarters beneath Geneva, Switzerland. The room was filled with military officers and government officials, all watching as the recording of the Horizon's encounter with the Voidari ship played on the large screen. When it ended, Admiral Jack Wilson turned to face her. Your actions saved your ship and crew, Captain Kelly, but this puts us in a difficult position. What happens now, sir? Lisa asked. We've detected multiple ships entering the outer solar system, Wilson said, his face grim. They match the energy signature of the vessel you encountered. It seems the Voidari weren't content with just warning us. Lisa felt her stomach drop. They're coming here? To Earth? Wilson nodded. We're mobilizing every ship we have, but I won't lie to you, we're outmatched. Their technology is far beyond ours. So what do we do? Lisa asked. We fight, Wilson said simply. And we hope that humans are more resourceful than the Voidari believe. Because if we're not, he left the sentence unfinished. As Lisa looked around the room at the determined but worried faces, she understood the magnitude of what was happening. Humanity had dreamed of the stars for centuries, imagining all the wonders they might find. No one had prepared for the possibility that what they found might want to destroy them. And now, ready or not, humanity was about to fight its first interstellar war. 6 months after the Horizon incident, Earth was at war. The Voidari were not alone. They were part of a coalition of 7 alien species that had dominated this sector of space for centuries. After the first attack, the coalition declared humanity a threat to galactic stability and launched attacks on all human outposts. Admiral Frank Alvarez stood in the underground command center beneath Geneva. The holographic map in front of him showed the devastating losses across 3 star systems. Red indicators blinked where human colonies had once thrived. The coalition's technology was more advanced than anything humans had ever developed. Their tactics were refined by centuries of warfare. Their numbers were vastly superior. The colony on Proxima Centauri has fallen, reported General Susan Miller. Her face showed no emotion, but Frank could see the grief in her eyes. Over 6,000 civilian casualties. The Defiant and Intrepid were destroyed while evacuating survivors. Frank rubbed his tired eyes. He hadn't slept more than 4 hours a night in weeks. What about Eden? Eden was humanity's most distant colony, established just a year before the war began. It was a beautiful world with 2 moons and vast oceans. Now it was under siege. Still, holding, but they're under heavy bombardment, Susan said. They won't last another week without reinforcements. Frank studied the map. Eden was represented by a small blue dot, surrounded by a swarm of red enemy indicators. Sending ships to help would weaken Earth's defenses. Not sending help meant abandoning thousands of colonists to die. And how is Project Lazarus coming along? Frank asked. Susan hesitated. Dr. Alan Weber says they've made a breakthrough, but what? He says what they've discovered isn't just a weapon. It's something that could change everything about how we understand the universe. Frank's eyes narrowed. At this point, General, I don't care if it rearranges the cosmos. If it can stop the coalition from wiping us out, I want it operational yesterday. Susan nodded and left to relay his orders. Frank remained staring at the map, watching as another human outpost winked from blue to red. Another loss. Another failure. Junior officer approached with a tablet. Sir, Captain Kelly's ship has returned from the beta sector. Frank nodded. Lisa Kelly had been busy since her encounter with the Voidari 6 months ago. As one of the few officers with direct experience against the aliens, she had been sent on increasingly dangerous missions to gather intelligence. Send her in. Lisa entered the command center a few minutes later. She looked different from the exploration captain she had been half a year ago. Her face was thinner, her eyes harder. A fresh scar ran along her jawline. "Admiral," she said, saluting. "Captain, I understand you have new information." Lisa placed a small device on the edge of the holographic table. It projected an image of a coalition battleship. "We managed to get close enough to scan one of their command vessels. Their shields have a fluctuation pattern. It's subtle, but if we time our weapons just right, we can punch through with about 70% less energy expenditure." Frank studied the data scrolling beside the image. This could help even the odds a bit. "There's more," Lisa said. "We captured a coalition scout ship. The pilot didn't survive, but we recovered their navigational data. We know where their main fleet is gathering for the next attack." Frank's eyebrows rose. This was the first real advantage they'd had since the war began. "Where?" "Jupiter space. They're going to hit our solar system from the outer planets and work their way in." Frank immediately began adjusting the defensive plan displayed on the table. "When?" 3 days. His hands stopped moving. 3 days? That's not enough time to recall our scattered forces. "No," Lisa agreed. "But it's enough time to evacuate more civilians to the underground shelters, and maybe enough time for Project Lazarus to come online." Frank nodded. "Stay here. I need to brief the President and the Joint Chiefs." As Frank hurried from the room, Lisa studied the holographic map. So many red dots, so few blue ones. Humanity was losing this war, and losing it badly. A soft chime sounded and a new message appeared on her tablet. It was from Dr. Alan Weber, head of Project Lazarus. The message contained only 4 words. "We need you. Now." Lisa frowned. She had met Weber only once, shortly after returning from the first Voidari encounter. He had asked her endless questions about the alien ship, particularly about the strange energy readings Ryan had detected just before they were attacked. She sent a quick message to Frank explaining where she was going, then headed for the underground maglev train that connected the main command center to other strategic facilities. 30 minutes later, she stepped off the train into a facility hidden deep beneath the Mojave Desert. Armed guards checked her identification at 3 separate checkpoints. At the 4th checkpoint, Dr. Weber himself was waiting for her. Alan Weber was in his 50s with gray hair and the thin build of someone who often forgot to eat. His eyes were bright with excitement or lack of sleep. Maybe both. "Captain Kelly, thank you for coming so quickly." "Your message wasn't exactly something I could ignore," Lisa replied. "What's this about?" "It's easier if I show you." He led her through a series of increasingly secure doors. "How much do you know about Project Lazarus?" "Only that it's supposed to be developing a weapon to use against the Coalition." Alan smiled. "It's so much more than that." "Tell me, Captain, what do you know about quantum physics?" Lisa shrugged. "Just what they taught us at the academy, enough to understand how our FTL drives work." "And what about consciousness, the nature of reality?" Lisa gave him a sharp look. "Doctor, we're 3 days away from a major Coalition attack. Is this really the time for philosophy?" "It's exactly the time," Alan replied as they reached a massive vault door. "Because what we've discovered changes everything we thought we knew about the universe. And about ourselves." The door slid open to reveal a vast chamber. In the center, suspended, in a containment field, was a pulsating orb of energy. It shifted colors from deep purple to blazing orange and back again, in patterns that seemed almost deliberate. "This," Alan said with reverence in his voice, "is the Nexus." Lisa stared at the orb, unable to look away from its hypnotic energy patterns. "What does it do?" "It doesn't do anything, it is something." Alan's voice dropped to almost a whisper. It's conscious, Captain, and it's been waiting for us to find it for a very long time. Lisa stared at the pulsating orb of energy, the Nexus, as Dr. Alan Weber explained his discovery. The chamber was vast, with dozens of scientists working at stations around the glowing sphere. Some monitored readings, others adjusted the containment field. I don't understand, Lisa said. What do you mean it's conscious? Alan stepped closer to the orb. The universe itself is conscious, Captain. Or rather, it's filled with a form of consciousness that exists at the quantum level. The Coalition, species have known this for thousands of years. That's why they're trying to destroy us. Lisa turned to him, confused. That makes no sense. Why would they attack us over this? Because humans have a unique ability to connect with this consciousness. Alan's eyes never left the Nexus. We've been doing it unconsciously throughout our history. It's why we've advanced so quickly compared to other species. Our art, our music, our scientific leaps, all of it has been guided by our natural connection to the quantum consciousness. And the Coalition knows this? Alan nodded. They fear what will happen if we learn to access it deliberately. Lisa looked back at the glowing orb. And have we? We have. Or rather, we're learning to. Alan gestured to a group of people on the far side of the chamber. They sat in meditative poses, their eyes closed. These volunteers are our first test subjects. They're learning to tap into the Nexus consciousness. What can they do with it? Lisa asked. It might be easier to ask what they can't do. Alan led her toward the group. The Nexus consciousness exists outside normal space-time. It touches everything, knows everything. When a human mind connects to it, the possibilities are extraordinary. As they approached, one of the volunteers opened her eyes. She was a young woman, maybe 30, with short brown hair and a lab coat with Dr. Karen Wu on the name tag. Captain Kelly, Karen said with a smile. We've been expecting you. Lisa frowned. How did you know my name? The same way I know you. We're thinking about your Lieutenant Ryan Garcia just now, and wondering if he's safe on the mission to evacuate Eden Colony. Lisa took a step back. You're reading my mind? Karen shook her head. Not exactly. I'm perceiving the quantum information that makes up reality, including your thoughts. It's more like seeing the code behind everything. Alan touched Lisa's arm gently. This is why the Coalition is afraid of us, Captain. They've spent thousands of years learning to access small portions of the quantum consciousness, but humans have a natural affinity for it. We're learning in weeks what took them centuries. Lisa looked around the chamber with new eyes. So this is our weapon? People who can read minds? It's so much more, Karen said. She stood up and walked to a table covered with small metal objects. Watch. She held her hand over one of the objects, a simple steel ball. Without touching it, she caused it to rise into the air. Then, as Lisa watched in astonishment, the ball began to change shape, flowing like liquid, forming a perfect cube, then a pyramid, then a complex geometric shape Lisa had never seen before. Matter manipulation at the quantum level, Alan explained. Energy control, information perception, across vast distances, even teleportation, though we're still working on that one. The Coalition species can do some of these things, Karen added, letting the metal object return to its original form. But never with our level of intuitive understanding. They've developed technologies to mimic these abilities. We can do it naturally once we learn to connect. Lisa felt dizzy with the implications. And you want me to learn this too? Alan nodded. You've already shown a strong potential for connection. Your brain scans after the Voidari encounter showed unusual patterns. We think you were unconsciously detecting the quantum field even then. How long does it take to learn? Lisa asked, thinking of the Coalition attack coming in just 3 days. It varies, Karen said. Some connect almost immediately, others take weeks. We don't have weeks. No, Alan agreed. But we have you. and 20 others like you who have shown exceptional potential. If even half of you can connect successfully, it could change the outcome of this war." Lisa took a deep breath. "What do I need to do?" For the next 48 hours, Lisa barely slept. She sat with Karen and the other connected volunteers, learning to quiet her mind and feel for the quantum consciousness that Alan insisted was all around them. At first, she felt nothing. Then, near the end of the first day, she began to sense something. A presence, vast and ancient, that seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere at once. By the middle of the second day, she could make small objects move. By the evening, she could sense the thoughts of people in nearby rooms. And by the morning of the third day, the day the coalition fleet was expected to attack, she could do things that she had previously thought impossible. In a secure conference room, Admiral Frank Alvarez watched in stunned silence as Lisa demonstrated her new abilities. She caused a pencil to float in the air, then disassemble itself piece by piece. She told him exactly what was written on the paper in his pocket without seeing it. She described in precise detail the layout of a coalition ship she had never seen. "This is..." Frank struggled for words. "How many can do this now?" 15, Alan said. "Out of the 24 we've been training. They're all at different levels, but they're learning quickly. Can they fight? Can they defend Earth?" Lisa answered. "We think so. The coalition uses technology to mimic these abilities. Their ships are powered by artificial connections to the quantum field. We can disrupt those connections." Frank leaned forward. "How effective will that be?" "In theory," Lisa looked at Alan, "we could shut down their entire fleet." "In theory," Alan emphasized. "This is all new territory, Admiral. We're learning as we go." Frank checked his watch. "Well, you're about to get a practical test. Our outer system sensors have detected the coalition fleet passing Neptune. They'll reach Jupiter space in 6 hours. We need to prepare," Lisa said, standing up. "And we need to talk to the president. This isn't just about defending Earth anymore. If we're right about what we can do with this connection, we might be able to end this war entirely." "How?" Frank asked. Lisa exchanged looks with Alan and Karen. "By showing the coalition exactly why they were right to fear us, and then offering them peace anyway." As Lisa left the room to prepare for the coming battle, she felt the Nexus consciousness flowing through her mind like a river of pure information. She could sense the other connected humans across the facility, their minds shining like stars in her awareness. And beyond that, faintly, she could feel the approaching coalition fleet. Thousands of alien minds, all bent on Earth's destruction. They had no idea what they were about to face. President Olivia Bennett stood in the Oval Office watching the live feed from space. The coalition fleet had arrived in Jupiter's orbit. Nearly 300 alien ships of various sizes moved in perfect formation. Earth's defensive fleet looked tiny in comparison, just 78 vessels, the best humanity could gather on short notice. "Madam President," said her Chief of Staff, Peter Howard. "Admiral Alvarez is here with Dr. Weber." Olivia nodded. "Send them in." Frank Alvarez entered with Alan Weber, and to Olivia's surprise, Captain Lisa Kelly. The President had met Lisa 6 months ago after the first Voidari encounter. She looked different now, more focused, with an unusual intensity in her eyes. "Madame President," Frank said, "we have a plan to counter the coalition attack, but it's unconventional." "At this point, Admiral, I'm open to anything," Olivia replied, gesturing to the screen showing the overwhelming alien force. Alan stepped forward. "We've made a breakthrough with Project Lazarus. We've discovered a way to access what we call the quantum consciousness, the fundamental awareness that permeates the universe." Olivia frowned. "I'm not sure I understand." "It's simpler to show you," Lisa said. She held out her hand, and the President's coffee mug lifted from her desk and floated across the room. Olivia's eyes widened. "How are you doing that?" "By connecting with the quantum field that exists everywhere," Lisa explained. "The same field the coalition uses to power their ships and weapons. But while they use technology to access it indirectly, we can connect to it naturally. And you can use this to fight them? We believe so, Frank said. Captain Kelly and 14 others have demonstrated these abilities. They can disrupt the Coalition's technology, communicate instantly across vast distances, and even transport themselves from one location to another. Olivia sat down heavily in her chair. This sounds like something from a science fiction story. The universe is stranger than we ever imagined, Alan said with a small smile. But this is real, and it may be our only chance. What do you need from me? Olivia asked. Lisa stepped forward. Permission to address the Coalition directly with Earth's full authority, and a worldwide broadcast to explain to our people what's happening. Olivia studied Lisa's face. You're proposing to tell everyone about this quantum consciousness? Yes. The Coalition has kept this knowledge from emerging species for thousands of years. They fear what happens when new civilizations discover it. Especially humans. Why especially humans? Because we have an unusually strong natural connection to it, Alan explained. Most species take centuries to learn what our volunteers mastered in days. Olivia was quiet for a long moment, considering. Finally, she nodded. Do it. If we're about to face extinction, our people deserve to know the truth. And if there's even a small chance this can save us, we have to try. 1 hour later, Olivia addressed the world from the Oval Office. Billions watched as she explained the nature of the Nexus and what it meant for humanity's place in the universe. She described how the Coalition had attacked Earth out of fear of human potential and had tried to eliminate humanity before they could fully realize it. For the past month, she continued, looking directly into the camera, we have been implementing what our scientists call the Awakening Protocol. Volunteers from our military forces have been trained to access the quantum consciousness that permeates our universe. The results have been remarkable. The broadcast showed footage of the volunteers demonstrating their abilities, moving objects without touching them, sharing thoughts across distances, predicting events before they happened. We now stand at a crossroads, Olivia said. The Coalition continues to attack our colonies, believing they can still prevent our awakening, but they are too late. We now possess the power to end this conflict. Her expression hardened. Therefore, I have authorized Operation Prometheus. As I speak, our awakened forces are preparing to confront the Coalition fleet. They will deliver this message. Cease all attacks on human settlements immediately, or we will cease pretending to be the civilized species you mistook us for. On a military transport heading toward Jupiter space, Lisa sat with the other 14 awakened humans. They wore simple gray uniforms with a small emblem of Earth on the shoulder. No weapons. They wouldn't need them. Are we ready for this? Asked Sam Bennett, a former Marine who had been one of the first to connect with the Nexus. Lisa nodded. We've trained as much as we could in the time we had. The rest we'll have to figure out as we go. Karen Wu looked out the viewport at the stars. I can feel them. The Coalition fleet. So many minds, all focused on destroying us. Not for long, Lisa said. Either they'll listen to reason, or they'll learn why they were right to fear us in the first place. The transport approached the human defensive line. Beyond it loomed the much larger Coalition fleet. Admiral Alvarez's voice came through the communication system. Captain Kelly, we've cleared a path for you. The President's authorization has been transmitted to the Coalition command ship. They're expecting you. Thank you, Admiral, Lisa replied. Hold your fire unless we fail. And, if you do fail, Lisa looked at her team, then hit them with everything we've got, and hope it buys Earth enough time to awaken more people. The transport passed through the human fleet. As they approached the midway point between the two forces, Lisa gathered the team. Remember the plan. We appear simultaneously on all 7 Coalition command ships. We demonstrate our power. We deliver our message. We offer peace. And if they refuse? Sam asked. Then we show them exactly why their ancestors were right to fear the potential of the human mind. Lisa closed her eyes, connecting deeply with the Nexus. Through it, she could feel the others doing the same, their minds joining in shared purpose. Together they reached out across space, searching for their targets on the Coalition vessels. In an instant, they vanished from the transport. Admiral Alvarez watched from the bridge of his flagship as the sensors showed 15 human life signs, disappearing from the transport only to reappear simultaneously across 7 different coalition ships. "My God," he whispered. "They did it." Lisa materialized in the command center of the Voidari flagship, along with 2 other humans. Similar scenes were playing out on the command ships of all 7 coalition species. The Voidari officers reacted with shock, some reaching for weapons, others backing away in fear. The Voidari Supreme Commander, a large reptilian figure with iridescent scales, rose from his command chair. "How is this possible? Our shields are useless against us," Lisa finished for him, "just as all your technology is useless against what we've become." The commander's inner eyelids flickered nervously. "What do you want?" Lisa stepped forward. "I bring Earth's final warning. For months your coalition has attacked our colonies, killed our people, and attempted to exterminate our species. You did so because you feared what we might become." She raised her hand, and every piece of technology in the room began to disassemble, itself, components floating in the air before reassembling in new configurations. "Your fear," Lisa continued, "was justified." The Voidari Supreme Commander stared at Lisa in shock as the ship's technology floated and reassembled around them. The other coalition officers remained frozen, some with weapons drawn but unable to fire. "This is impossible," the commander said, his scaled skin paling to a light blue. "No species has ever demonstrated such control without centuries of development." "Humans are different," Lisa replied calmly. "The same connection to the quantum consciousness that you feared is why we can learn so quickly." Through her connection to the Nexus, Lisa could sense the other humans on the 6 other coalition command ships. They were all delivering the same message, showing the same demonstrations of power. She could feel the fear and confusion radiating from the alien minds. "We are not here for revenge," Lisa continued. "Despite everything you've done, humanity still prefers peace. But make no mistake, if you continue to attack us, we will cease pretending to be civilized." The commander's inner eyelids flickered, rapidly. "What do you mean?" Lisa gestured, and a holographic display appeared in the air between them. It showed Earth's message being delivered simultaneously across 7 worlds. On each ship, the awakened humans were demonstrating their control of the quantum field in different ways. Some were manipulating matter, others were revealing alien secrets they couldn't possibly know, and a few were effortlessly neutralizing weapon systems. "This is just 15 humans," Lisa explained. 15 who have been connected to the Nexus for less than 3 days. Imagine what billions could do with proper training. The commander sank back into his chair. "What are your terms?" "Immediate and permanent cessation of all hostilities. Recognition of humanity's sovereignty. Reparations for the colonies you destroyed." Lisa's voice remained calm. "And sharing of all historical records regarding the quantum consciousness you've been hiding from emerging species." The commander's eyes narrowed. "And if we refuse, we won't destroy you. That would be uncivilized." Lisa allowed herself a small, cold smile. "Instead, we'll simply evolve you. Your consciousnesses would remain intact, but your understanding would be expanded, permanently, whether you want it or not." The silence in the command center was absolute. Every alien was staring at her with a mixture of fear and awe. "You have 6 hours to reach a unanimous decision among all coalition species," Lisa said. "We'll be waiting." With that, she and the other awakened humans vanished from the coalition ships, reappearing on their transport vessel. Sam Bennett exhaled loudly as they rematerialized. "That was intense. Do you think they'll agree?" Lisa nodded slowly. "They will. I could sense their fear. They know we could have destroyed their fleet instead of just talking to them." Karen Wu was monitoring the quantum field. "There's a lot of communication happening between the coalition ships. They're definitely taking us seriously." Back on Earth, President Olivia Bennett waited anxiously in the Situation Room with her advisors. When the communication screen lit up with Lisa's face, everyone leaned forward. "Captain Kelly, report," Olivia said. Message delivered, Madam President. All 7 species received our terms simultaneously. They have 6 hours to decide, but I believe they'll accept. Admiral Alvarez shook his head in wonder. I still can't believe you just teleported onto their ships through their shields. The shields are designed to block matter and energy as they understand it, Lisa explained. But when we connect to the Nexus, we move through the quantum field itself. No technology can block that. What happens now? The President asked. We wait, Lisa replied, and we continue awakening more humans. The more of us who can connect to the Nexus, the safer Earth will be. 5 hours later, the Coalition sent their response. All 7 command ships transmitted the same message simultaneously. They accepted Earth's terms. 2 days later, Lisa stood with President Bennett in the East Room of the White House as representatives from all 7 Coalition species arrived for the formal peace signing. The aliens looked uncomfortable, constantly glancing at the awakened humans positioned around the room. The Voidari Supreme Commander was the first to sign the peace document. As he set down his pen, he looked directly at Lisa. You understand that this changes everything, he said quietly. For thousands of years, the old species have controlled access to the quantum consciousness. We believed it was our duty to prevent chaos in the galaxy. By attacking and destroying any species that showed potential? Lisa asked. The commander's scales shifted color slightly. We believed it was necessary. The power you now wield could destroy worlds if misused. We know, President Bennett said, joining the conversation. Which is why we're establishing strict protocols for awakening and training. Unlike the Coalition, we don't believe in hoarding knowledge or preventing others from reaching their potential. The commander looked surprised. You would share this power, even after what we did to your colonies? That's what makes us different, Lisa said. We understand that true civilization isn't about force or control. It's about growth and cooperation. 1 month later, Lisa stood on a hilltop overlooking the new Nexus Academy. Hundreds of humans were arriving for training, carefully selected from around the world for their mental stability and ethical character. Many more would follow as the screening process continued. Karen Wu joined her, watching the new arrivals. It's amazing how quickly things have changed. A month ago, we were facing extinction. Now we're teaching other species how to connect to the Nexus. Lisa nodded. Representatives from 3 Coalition species had requested to join the Academy as students learning the human approach to quantum consciousness. After centuries of technological shortcuts, they wanted to experience the direct connection that humans found so natural. Do you ever wonder if the Coalition was right to be afraid? Karen asked. This power could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Of course it could, Lisa agreed. Any power can be misused. That's why we need to teach responsibility alongside ability. Admiral Alvarez approached them, looking up at the gleaming buildings of the Academy. The first diplomatic missions leave next week. 20 newly awakened humans heading to Coalition worlds to help with reconstruction and establish permanent embassies. And the deep space explorers? Lisa asked. Ready when you are, Frank replied with a smile. The Horizon 2 has been fitted with the new quantum drives. No need for conventional FTL anymore when your crew can fold space directly. Lisa looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the evening sky. Humanity had faced extinction, and instead, found its true potential. The galaxy was opening up before them, full of possibilities they were only beginning to understand. You know, Karen said thoughtfully, we never actually had to stop pretending to be civilized. In the end, it was our civilization, our willingness to offer peace instead of revenge that truly set us apart. Lisa smiled. Maybe that's the real lesson the Coalition needed to learn. True power isn't about destruction. It's about having the strength to choose peace even when you don't have to. As darkness fell, the stars seemed to pulse with new meaning. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, no longer helpless against advanced species. They had awakened to their true potential and found it was greater than anyone, human or alien, had ever imagined. And this was just the beginning.